There it is. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Live from My Mother's Basement. That's right, live from my mother's basement with yours truly, Mike Marino. We are in the motherfucking basement. And I said it like that because that's how excited I am to be here. Because I've been doing Live from My Mother's Basement in Puerto Rico. I did it in Cancun. I did it in Mexico. I did it in Cabo St. Lucas. But I'm not happy in those locations. I'm happiest when I'm in the real basement and it's cold outside because we are in the state of New Jersey. Tonight's show, I present my favorite female comedian on the entire planet. This is Michelle Traina.
Oh, thanks, Mike. That's the best intro ever.
It's a nice intro, isn't it? Yeah. Let's rewind. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying it. She's Italian. She's a Jersey girl. She almost looks like she could be my sister. Maybe that's going to make, we'll do a brother-sister routine somewhere. For those of you who are just listening, she looks a lot like me. She has blonde hair and blue eyes, and she's Italian. You know what that means? We could both rob a bank and say we didn't do it.
Yeah, we were at our mother's for
Yes,
Sunday dinner.
we were believable because we don't look like a bunch of ginzaloons from down here in the Jersey area. All right, we're going to have some fun tonight. This is the last episode of the year.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Weird.
exciting and weird. Yeah.
It's exciting and weird because it's kind of like, is it really the end of the year? Or is it the end of the planet? Because this shit that we're watching in the news constantly about this COVID motherfucker is driving us all out of our minds.
Yeah. It needs to be the end of COVID.
It needs to be the end of COVID and the end of people beating the shit out of each other on airplanes.
Yeah, what is
That was a subject I need to bring up. See how I tell you we're never going to stay on track? That's a beautiful, good thing and a blessing.
Much like the 2020, 2021. It veers off track, but, we get back on it.
We're going to get on track. I think it's cool that we're both wearing Marino 2024 t-shirts. This is badass. Yeah. I can do that too. Oh, shit, my fucking back is killing me. Not like getting older. All right, let's see if our friends here on Facebook can hear us. Nobody said anything. Where's anybody? Anybody? I don't see anybody. If you're on Facebook, please say that you can hear me so that we can keep on going. I know everybody on... Oh, okay, there's Ingrid. Hi, Ingrid. Thank you so much for letting us know that you can hear us. All right, let's start the show. Hey, everybody on Instagram, hang out, watch. We're going to take in some questions in a little while. We're all going to get to know who my guest is, why she's on the show, and where you could see her show in the future, especially in the beginning of next year, right?
Yes.
All right. So this is Michelle Traina, and she's a comedian. I don't even know if we say that anymore. It used to be actor, actress, then it became actors.
Right. I don't know.
It used to be comedian with an E on the end.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
I go by actor, comedian. I don't want you to have to treat me differently just because I'm a female. But honestly, I don't give, as long as you say comedian, whatever you want to. But I'm an actor. I'm a comedian.
Why is it not actress? Actress.
Hey, you can call me
She's
an actress.
Actress.
Hire me as actor, actress.
Yeah, we just want to go to work.
We just want to work.
All right, well, I just wanted to clear that up. I don't even know if that's the real intended subject matter. It's not. I want to start the show by saying I had a few people come to the front door tonight other than Michelle. One was a possum. No, that's not... I didn't really mean it to be funny. I'm glad it came out funny.
One of my ex-boyfriends lives, of course, down the street, so maybe it was him.
Really?
Yeah, he looks like a possum.
Why would you date somebody who looks like a possum?
Well, they're cute. I don't know. They are. I like big, burly guys.
Well, nobody ever really saw a possum unless he was looking in your headlights and you were running him over. So did your ex-boyfriend look like somebody that got hit by a car?
Well, a little bit.
Something tells me she's got a bad picker. You need an older brother. I'm stepping in. We need to look at this possum before we allow him in the back door. For some reason or other, in the front door tonight, when I went to go check the mail, was a possum. And he was right on my front steps, just sitting there. And I didn't want to annoy him, but I had to put him on Instagram. And he played possum.
Oh.
He pretended he was going to stand still. And he did. Because if you know the game, playing possum means you hide and stand still, because that's what a possum does. When a
Oh.
car's coming down the street and it sees the possum stands still as a defense mechanism, not realizing the guy's going to run him over.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why they're always dead on the street.
So if I'm late on one of my bills, I can just stand
Play
still.
possum. That's a good one. You didn't pay your bill. I was playing possum.
PSC&G is going to be one of those.
But you knew the game.
Yeah.
Don't bills suck?
Oh, yes.
Doesn't it seem like you pay a bill and it shows up the next day for you to pay again? You're like, wait a minute, I just paid you, bitch.
I don't, or you get like my doctor bills. I change insurance, and they'll say like, "Oh, you owe like $6,800 now on your new premium," and you're like, "No, I don't." And then you forget about those doctor bills. Then they come back to haunt you because they go to a collections agency, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, COVID."
Doctor bills really do suck, especially when they don't tell you when you're in the office what your bill's going to be. They just say, give me a copay,
Yeah.
which led me to go into a joke about copay. I always say, how is it a copay if you don't put up any money? That's how you co.
I know.
I
Well,
co, you co, we co.
co.
If you don't co, it's a me pay. All me.
Well, the best is when they don't know if you have, and you're like, "Yeah, I don't think I do," and then you get the hell out of there.
Yeah, right? You ever hear, do you have a copay? I'm like, no, I don't. If you don't know whether I have one or not, I don't.
I don't, not at all. I.
Put up a copay. I'm like, nah, get you on the way out. Get you on the way out.
My dentist has like a text message, so they find me. They text me and tell me I'm late on my daughter's cavity bill, and it's sick because now that they know that I'm like reading the messages, I'm like, "These, yeah."
Folks, she just mentioned her daughter cavities. Wait till you see what we got on the table at the bar.
Don't show my dentist. They be like, "You still owe us $100."
She brought this. Why does the kid have cavities? I don't know.
Listen, in the morning it's easy.
Life is crazy and a lot of weird shit's going on. I actually have a dentist. I talk about the dentist on the podcast all the time. His name is Dr. Tom, and Dr. Tom is all the way down in Princeton. Now, why would a guy who technically lives in Los Angeles, California, come to New Jersey, drive an hour and a half to Princeton to get his teeth cleaned? Because he's a great dentist and he doesn't cheat you.
Okay, so that's important.
Have you ever seen a dentist and then all of a sudden you got like cavity after cavity, you need a filling,
Yeah.
and your daughter needs all of this shit, and then you go to a different dentist and they're like, nah, just a cleaning.
And you also, some dentists you can get sick from if they don't clean their utensils properly. Because I had a cousin, this is a true story, he's a dentist. I hope some of my family might be watching. True story. He doesn't clean his utensils properly. My uncle goes to him because he gets a deal. He gets sick afterwards.
Oh, come on.
I know, I swear to you, my uncle's like, I shouldn't really go to him because he don't think it's that clean. I don't know why they go to him, but like, I was like, first of all, this guy is a dentist, yes. But yeah, that was the whole thing is they don't clean the utensils. On top of the fact he probably cheats people for the money, but you know, I don't know. I'm serious about that too.
I couldn't imagine having my tooth picked with a picking pick thing that's been picking somebody else before I got in that chair.
I know.
Could you imagine the dentist? Have you been eating corn? No. Oh, must have been the person in front of you. What the fuck? That's disgusting.
Anything in Princeton is really nice. Like, I would do the same thing. If I had a night, maybe you should give me his number because I love Princeton.
Dr. Tom, we're going to be giving out your number. He's a great dentist, and as far as I know, his utensils are clean.
Oh, good. Okay. Not like my cousins.
Well, they usually open the bag. It's in the bag, and they take it out.
My uncle didn't tell me the whole story, but he did mention this. He's like, I shouldn't have gone to, I don't want to say my cousin's name, but, you know, I don't think he cleans his utensils.
How would that even look? Were you like, nah, I can't use that one. Nah. Hey, this one don't look so bad. All right, open your mouth.
Like, you know, like you're supposed to have new ones, I think, for each patient. So maybe he didn't. I don't know. Or
You
he dropped
think.
on the ground.
You're supposed to have new utensils for each patient. That is
Yeah, I would hope
disgusting.
so.
Could you imagine that? I'm not going to open up another wrapper. I only have 2 patients today. They're both here for the same filling. Look here. I cleaned it. That's
That
disgusting.
is disgusting. I actually have
And we'll be right back after this commercial break from Scope Deodorant. That is, I mean, mouthwash.
Deodorant would be great.
Imagine that. I wash my pits with mouthwash. Boy, do I smell fresh. Is that a cool breeze? No, it's my pit. That's disgusting. What does this one smell like? Tic Tocs. Tic Tac, Tic Tac. Tic Toc. Fuck, got Tic Toc on my brain. This is ridiculous. Okay, so we have a comedian on the show, or actress, or actor / comedian, stand-up performer, comic. Boy, there's so many things they call us.
Yeah, I think that's great. Not
Yeah.
every comedian is an actor, though, too, right?
That's
Don't you
true.
think that? Yeah.
I always thought I was an actor playing the role of a stand-up because I started out as an actor.
Same.
Yeah, so she's an actress playing the role of a stand-up comedian. Or she's an actor performing as a stand-up in a one-woman show.
I'm an acting comedian today.
Let's hit a few subject matters that were crazy in the news tonight, and then we're going to talk to Michelle all about her one-woman show, which is called
Divorce Diaries.
Divorce Diaries, because it's about divorce. Now, I want to talk about that subject matter because I'm a guy, and I want to hit it up from a male point of view. See if I can't stick up for the dudes. In the news today, a kangaroo was choked out by a neighbor because the neighbor of the guy who had kangaroos was nervous that the kangaroo was getting out of hand. And the kangaroo, it's just 65 pounds, took its feet and pushed other people. So they choked it and they killed the kangaroo.
Well, kangaroo's feet are big, too.
Kangaroo got big feet or paws or whatever the fuck it's called. But kangaroos belong in Australia, not New Jersey. Why is there a kangaroo in New Jersey?
I feel like somebody was like, "Oh, it's cute. Can you buy it for me for Christmas?" That's what I feel like happened. That's
The kangaroo was probably cute when it first came because it was a baby and it was in the pouch of a big one. Then the big one goes away and then you got your baby. Then your baby grows into a kangaroo as tall as a fucking human, and it's not a good idea.
right. So this cute little thing, because nowadays, just as a mom, like we do everything for our children. We want to get them nice things. Oh, you want to do it? Fine, we'll do it. We want to give them options.
Wait a minute, I have to say that is just hilarious. How do you go from kangaroo? Because as a mom,
Well, because I'm thinking about someone, maybe they brought it for like a Christmas gift. I mean, ever since the whole Tiger King, what was the documentary with the
Yeah.
tigers, right?
yeah.
People, I found out about how many exotic animals people have. So that's what I'm thinking maybe they brought it in for, which is like bringing it to your point. Why do you have a kangaroo in New Jersey? We're already on edge. We don't need a kangaroo around us, making us more like hyped
I
up.
don't even know how that's legal to have a foreign animal.
Right.
They're not really known for being here. We have possums. You see, now if there was a fight between a kangaroo and a possum, the possum would win because he would just go
Right.
and play possum. Or get hit by a car, like her ex.
Aw. Full circle.
There's fights on planes these days, they said. Coming towards the end of the year, there was just under 6,000 fights on planes in the year 2021. Imagine that. Just under
I mean,
6,000.
I feel like this year, though, I've been on a couple of planes and traveling. Everyone's testy because they're forcing the mask. Of course, they have to keep the mask on. I've heard people say they took it off, they get upset. Then the stewardess comes over, gets annoyed with them, and there's this bickering going on. So I can believe it.
Well, there's constant bickering and it's fighting. And on this last one, this guy was sitting there and this girl goes walking by without her mask. He said, "Put your mask on." She called him a bitch. He said whatever. He called her a Karen.
Oh God.
And
Here we go.
he was 69 and she punched him right in the face and it's on camera. Now, he should have got up and punched her in the face and choked her like a fucking kangaroo and killed her. But he didn't. He just sat there and took it. So I really don't know who the Karen is in this.
Wow.
Oh, and then the steward guy or airline attendant, whatever it's called, he blocked the fight with the cart that sold snacks.
What? Oh my God. Wait.
Can you imagine that? How'd you get saved? By a cart with food, snacks, overpriced peanuts.
The Coca-Cola, when she reached for it, really
Yeah.
hit me up. I honestly, like, I can understand the frustration of just mind your own business, but to take it to that level, that just shows you how hyped up everybody is for, like, our world to return back to, like, a new norm. But I don't know, beating each other up on the airplane is not the answer either.
I was on a plane and the guy in front of me was being a real asshole. Now, I'm sorry to say this, but no, I'm really not. Some people look like assholes. They walk like assholes. They present themselves like assholes. You're a fucking asshole. Your parents knew you were an asshole. They allowed you to be an asshole. You're an asshole. So this guy sits in front of me on the plane, and he decided he needed to recline his chair before we take off, which means his chair was in my fucking lap. So I take my knees and I jam him in his ass just to let him know somebody behind him is ready to punch him in the fucking head. And then he was scratching his head, and his dandruff was falling into my lap, right? Oh, stretching. And then he took his mask off. So the lady coming down with the cart of food says, "Mister, it's the law. You have to put your mask on." And he says, "I'm about to order something to eat." She said, "We didn't even take off yet. I'm not going to serve food for a while. Put your chair up, put your mask on, and you can take it off when you're about to eat. And between snacking and sipping, you got to put your mask on." And he made this big, and I just wanted to put my arms around the chair, under his neck like this, like that. You put your arm under his jersey thing, then you grab your other arm and you choke till he stops fucking breathing. And I go like this, "Yeah, there you go. Here's your fucking sandwich, jerk off."
See, now, when I was explaining this to the last guy that I dated, that was just normal human behavior, he thought I needed anger management. But thank you. Like, I felt that. Like, that's what I explained to him.
I wasn't angry. I was just being
No, I'm saying that.
justified.
Exactly. My justification for the way I...
So you told somebody that you were dating you would do something like that?
Right, because they were gaslighting me.
Oh.
They were like, doing stuff like they were, which I feel like this guy was gaslighting you by putting the chair back. Nobody likes the thing.
No, he didn't even know I was there.
Oh, but still, like...
He was just being a normal dick. It's a dick.
So is this guy. I mean, but
yes.
the guy...
Stop dating dicks.
Well, I'll date the ones that can actually properly serve.
The dick.
Right. This guy would say, I went to NYU and he said to me, "Michelle, you're the only," and he's in the filmmaking industry, and he's like, "Michelle, you're the only person I know that went to NYU that's poor." Yeah. And he's like, "And you're talented, Michelle. I know talented and not so talented people that went to NYU that both are making money, and you're poor." He said that.
That's bullshit.
It's addicting, right? Okay. So I tried to keep my calm, and then I laid into him because he did a couple comments like that. And I got really upset, kind of like the choking, but through verbs and emotional rants on the phone. And he's like, "You need help. Like, you need to calm down." I was like, "No, this is how I appropriately discuss my emotions and feelings through the phone. And if I was in person with you, you'd feel it right here on your throat." So I'm just saying that we get pushed to that point. So especially on the airplane too, where you're already in close quarters. There's a pandemic where you can inhale this, this whole entire disease is whatever we're calling it. It's a disease, right?
Yeah.
So it's frustrating, and then a guy like that deserves to say, "Shut the fuck up, put your mask." Oh, I'm cursing out here. Put your mask on, push your chair up, and just wait, buddy. And here's some Head and Shoulders.
I don't really think we need to teach anybody a lesson verbally.
You're right.
You know you're an asshole. Yeah. You just need to get busted in the face.
Thank you. See, can you just come to my therapist and explain this? Because she thinks...
Well, now that you bring that up, I'm going to bring that up too. I don't go see a therapist. I used to have a therapist. Her name was Mom. And whenever I had a problem, my mother said, "Oh, we'll have something to eat." Once you were done eating, you forgot your problem. And that was that. There was a therapist who came on this show, and she was the first person to not give me an answer to gaslighting.
Okay.
I never heard the word gaslighting till a friend of mine told me about it and said that therapist is actually gaslighting you. And that therapist is gaslighting other people
Oh,
into thinking they
thinking.
need more therapy. So when I had her on the show, I said, why don't you explain gaslighting? And she goes, well, I'm not going to go there. And that just pretty much spelled out she shouldn't have a license to do therapy.
Yeah.
She also did something really crazy. She goes, I like to analyze people by getting to know them. I says, well, that makes sense. I get to know people and I usually size them up pretty quickly, especially when they're in an audience, because I can tell their body posture and I can see in their face what they're thinking. And she said, I like to analyze characters on The Sopranos. And I went, are you fucking shitting me? You analyze fictitious people? She goes, oh, they're not fictitious. The writer knew exactly what he was thinking. I'm like, all right, we need to go to a commercial break and you need to go home. That is some fucked up shit.
Yeah. I mean,
We all have trouble analyzing new people in our lives. It takes a while, especially in the dating market. If you happen to be single and you get a little bit older, dating becomes I'd rather go out to dinner by myself type thing. But when you're
100%.
younger, you feel like, well, this is what I'm supposed to do, so you deal with it.
right.
Until you get to know somebody, then you say, oh, this sucks, I want to deal with somebody else. When you get older, you say, this sucks, I don't ever want to deal with anybody ever again.
That's so true.
And that-
Thank you.
Then you end up becoming a one-woman show.
That's gonna be my new intro. Written by
I think
Marino.
maybe that should
I
be
like
your
that.
intro.
Because like I was feeling it. I was like, oh my, he's getting me. He's getting. Oh my god, this is it.
Okay, so then that's it then. Let's take this as the intro to the show that's called Divorce Diaries, which is really a great title.
Thank you.
D&D. DD. Double D.
Yeah, I thought of that too. I was like, well, D-Day. I mean, I lost my.
How
D-cup.
long have you been in the... What? Wait a minute. What
No,
happened?
I lost my D cup when I was nursing. I was a C cup. I don't know how I went into that, but I just thought of DD because okay. So anyway, I know I have ADHD, so I just veered off into a different.
I don't know
direction.
acronyms, so I like a
Attention.
BLT, and I always have a BLT on a Sunday morning.
I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I'm undiagnosed, but I'm just diagnosing myself. Okay.
I'll be right back after I get my pills. I need a gummy. This is why we do the show in front of the bar.
No,
We don't drink until the show's over. I'm only kidding. I don't drink. I'm a pot smoker. So tell us about how you came upon Divorce Diaries.
So I started Divorce Diaries when I moved back home with my North Jersey Italian parents. I moved back into my mother's, not basement, but the upstairs, for the second floor, two-family house my grandparents owned. And I lived with my parents, my 92-year-old Sicilian grandmother, my twin brother, and my handicapped dog. It was literally like, it was the Italian Addams family.
Okay, but you're saying you moved back in because you were married.
Yeah, sorry. So the main reason why I moved back home was because I was getting a divorce and I thought I was living in this crazy funky reality show of like trying to date, potty train my daughter, potty train my grandmother,
So
finalize
you got
my
divorced
divorce.
when the kid was still potty training?
Yeah, she was 2. She was not even 2.
Well, go back even further. You're married to who and how long? Well, you don't have to mention any names,
Yeah.
but how long were you married?
5.5 years.
Well, that's a good run.
Yeah, I like to think so.
5.5 years. I mean,
You're right.
I think the average is 7, right?
I think so. It's 7 or 10 sometimes. People get that itch at 7 years, they say.
Right, the
I-
7-year itch. That's why I said 7.
I get itchy at like
I scratch my ass at 7 dates.
I scratched it at 6 months first into the marriage. I was like, what did I do?
Really?
Well, because
How long did you date before you got married?
Right, 4 years, and we were fine. But it was, I think, this like he was my first boyfriend, and like serious boyfriend in my early 20s, and I think it just was not meant to be long term. And my parents knew. They were like, this isn't the one for you. He wasn't Italian, which it doesn't matter. You don't have to be Italian, but he is.
You know what? Let's go on that.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter, but it actually matters. Because if you're brought up by a strict family of any culture, it's best that you kind of go with that because that's what you know. If you go into a different culture, let's say you're a full-blooded Italian, you grew up in the basement like we're down here right now, you're eating all the time, and then all of a sudden you marry somebody, let's just say is Irish. Now you're drinking every night. You might be. And you're not cooking like Mommy used to cook. And maybe you're not doing what you were used to doing. So you start to clash. It's just the way it is.
And he was also, and Gina Marie says, I have to have drinks, Michelle. Hey, I'll have drinks, but we were very opposite, and he didn't like me performing. He wouldn't say that, but he didn't want me. Yeah, it was a whole thing. He didn't understand the industry. I went into teaching. It was fine. But I changed a lot about myself, and when you change yourself, your inner spirit for someone else, that shit's gonna come up, and it started to come up.
Because you dilute yourself. You water down your own personality, and before you know it, you're not you anymore. And as a performer myself, when I was involved with certain female friends that I was close to, eventually I stopped doing things that I enjoyed because it might make them uncomfortable.
Right.
See the way I'm explaining this in the nicest way possible? And you become less of the entertainer that you were, which kills your career. We need to be hardcore and bring out the truth without holding anything back. If you hold something back in your performance, you're screwed.
Right.
Because the truth is what's funny in any given situation, even in death. That's why they say there's comedy and tragedy, and that's why we do what we do. So if you're having marital problems and you can't talk about it on a talk show, you're screwed.
You're screwed.
But now you can.
Exactly. Well, I talk about in the show, I created it about what was going on around me at the time, and then it's also episodic. So Divorce Diaries will continue even if, let's say, per chance I get remarried, which probably will never happen, and I'm okay with it. Maybe not if I meet the right man. Just saying. I definitely, it'll always continue because I'll always be divorced, and there'll be a journey of finding my happily ever after, whether that's alone, whether that's with somebody, whether that's continuing down a road of like self-fulfillment, but it's all through comedy. So I didn't want to create a one-woman show that I started it off as a theater piece, so it was like, dramedy, and my friends left the first show I did in New York City crying, and I was like, I don't want that. I want them to be laughing their butts off, and that's when I made it all comedy. I was doing stand-up at the time. I went back to improv, and I was like, this is going to be a comedy show. I don't want people to start crying over it.
It's best to make people laugh a little bit, especially about the crazy shit that we go through in life, in the world, in relationships. Relationships are funny. If you think about the way your parents were involved, you could never be involved that way, because they were involved in a way that started before you were born, right, when it was traditional that the guy had to ask the parents if he can have the girl's hand in marriage. Now we're like, hey, your parents around? Because I think maybe I should hang out. What? Yeah. And then sometimes you meet a girl or a guy that's been divorced and has kids. Now you're going to have a whole new family as soon as you say, I do. I do. Oh, yeah? Well, these three are coming with us. Oh, shit.
Well,
I didn't know there was three. Who do they belong to? Well, they got three different fathers. What?
My family, all the women in my family, old school Italians, would say to me, oh, Michelle, you got to find a guy who's going to be good with your daughter. And I was like, of course so. Of course so. Of course. But then my mother specifically would start saying, well, Michelle, what can you expect? You have a daughter. Like, in other words, a guy can find a woman. She used to say, it's the old school mentality. A guy can find a woman, a girlfriend, more easily because, like, a woman has a kid. And I didn't understand that. I was like, Mom, that's such an old school way of thought, but that's how she was raised, right? Like, you got divorced. She's divorced, but that's how my mom will always say, she's divorced, but she's happy. And I'm like, of course she is.
Here's what I get sometimes. Now, I'm single, I've never been married, and I have no children. But if I was to go out, and this has happened to me a few times, with a girl who has kids, they would say to me, you're a red flag. You've never been married and you have no kids. What's wrong with you? And it's best that I go out with some guy who's divorced with kids, because I'm divorced with kids. We understand each other. That's when I go, well, wait a minute. How am I a red flag and you got divorced and you don't have any flags? As far as I'm concerned, I have no flags and you're a fucking flag parade. Okay? And why wouldn't you want to go out with a guy who doesn't have any kids? I ain't bringing the Brady Bunch to the table. You are. And maybe I would be good with kids. I could be Uncle Mike just for a little while.
Yeah, Yeah, and the way
Unless you got asshole kids, then I ain't talking to them. Because maybe you do.
well,
I don't know. Your oldest son might be an asshole. Want to fight me and shit. I mean, I'm just saying. This never happened. Could you imagine? Who are you? I'm dating your mother.
yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. Maybe,
Well,
whatever.
I think that's a good point because I do. Yeah, I make a joke about like if you're a single female in your 30s or 40s or in your late 30s and you've never been married, you don't have kids. People are like, "Oh, are you freezing your eggs?" Like I'm 40, and people are like, "Oh, you don't want any more kids, right? It's too late." And I'm like, I'm fine with that. Like, there's always some kind of stigma with your label, right? If you're divorced, if you're single, if you don't have kids. And I think that you just actually brought up a really good point. You approach it like that. Like, look, you may think I have a red flag, but actually, for me, I don't have any red. You're in entertainment too. So entertainers is a whole different ballgame. Because we put our energy so much into our career that it's hard to have a family when you're performing and you're traveling, right? I would think that's where I stopped for a
Yeah, I
certain amount of
guess.
time.
I don't know. Because when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was in the realm of going down that aisle.
You were.
It just didn't
Ooh.
happen because they wanted to marry somebody else.
Ah.
And I got kicked to the curb, so I ended up going to California. But that's just the way that happened in my life. It didn't really have anything to do with the business.
Yeah.
So you said that you have people say to you, so you don't want any more kids, do you?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I would love to have another.
How old is your daughter?
She's 9.
And what's your daughter's name?
Grace.
You guys got to see Grace
Oh,
on her Instagram. This kid does backflips like she's a gymnast, I guess. Is she a gymnast?
She is a
It's the
gymnast.
funniest fucking thing because she's really adorable, good looking, and she's all of a sudden she's just standing there, and then all of a sudden like bing, 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 and she's flipping. It's like, how
Yeah.
the fuck did they do that?
And she's got all, and you know what the beauty of this story is? She couldn't do any of that a year ago. She was crying, I can't do a back bend. I was like, you're gonna get it. You're gonna keep working at it, and it'll come. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna happen. I put her in 4 classes a week. That was financially hard to do. She do flipping, back flips, aerials, all that stuff.
Well,
Proud of her.
she's dynamite. And
Thank you.
what is your Instagram so people can actually see pictures of your daughter flipping?
Yes. Okay. So it's 2. There's Michelle Traina. And Divorce Diary Show. Both. Michelle Traina and Divorce Diary Show.
We're not taking in any questions until
See, our Instagram.
we're not going to take in those questions until we get to the portion of the show where we take in questions. Look at him blushing.
Well, that's what
We'll be
people
right
do.
back after this commercial. So she's talking about, was telling me about dating after divorce.
Yeah.
Is that in your show as well?
It's heavily in my show.
Heavily in the show.
Well, because it's actually partly my therapy in healing through getting over the disasters I put myself in. I just I don't know if I'm doing it subconsciously. I kind of self-sabotage and date men who are unavailable. I don't date anybody right now, but I always end up finding the wounded pigeon who's pecking at me and I'm like, I can fix you. And then they keep pecking at me while I'm
Yeah.
trying to show them love.
You can't fix anybody.
No.
And
no.
don't get together with people who are broken. I don't fix nobody, and I'm not going to. Today on Dr. Phil, they were showing a woman and her husband, and the husband cheated with, the girl who he cheated with came on the show. And the wife of the guy was just attacking the girl the husband cheated with. And I was wondering why Dr. Phil didn't say to the married woman, what difference does it make what this woman did? Your husband did it.
Thank you.
He did it. Your problem is not with this woman. She was lied to. He said he was single. He said he was divorced. He did everything he could to get in
Yep.
her pants.
Yep.
Your problem is with the dude. The dude's problem's with his wife. The girl on the show should never have come on the show because now she looks like an asshole. And she's probably not. She's
Right.
probably someone who got caught up in his bullshit. But the woman kept attacking
Yeah.
her. And I wished I was there to go say, why are you yelling at her?
Yeah.
He obviously lied. What do you think? She was sitting there going, I know you're married, but you have to fuck me.
Well, I was in a situation exactly like that. Can I share that or no?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't mind sharing it.
What side were you on?
The one she was yelling at.
Why were you yelling at the girl?
No. I was the girl.
Being yelled at.
I was the guma.
Oh.
I know.
Gumada.
I know, and you know
The
I'm
extra girl.
sweating because it was the worst situation. I hid it from everybody. It was the worst situation.
But did the guy lie to you?
Yeah. He lied to an extent. I should have known better, and I should have knew he was but it was almost 2 years. By
2 years of a relationship with him, and he was married the whole time.
Year and a half, married the whole time. He told me he was getting divorced, and that he said he was getting. Okay, I'll be very honest. He said, okay, it was horrible. He said he was getting separated, not divorced. He was going to get separated. They lived in separate bedrooms. I know, it was horrible. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I was fucking stupid for doing it. I'm ashamed of myself. I wasn't brought up that way. But I was so, I ended up getting just caught up in it. First of all, we were friends before from work. And I ended up getting caught up in it. And then I couldn't shake it. And then he was getting upset because he would get jealous about other guys. And then I would be like, well, you're married. Like, you have to tell your wife about me, all this other stuff. And then it came to a head and his wife called me. And I was like, well, what's the truth? And she told me the truth, and he lied about everything. Because I believed him that they slept in separate rooms, that he was in the process of getting separated, that they didn't sleep together, all that. I believed it like a moron. And in part of me knew. There was a small part of me that knew. I just didn't want to know. And she's like, no, he does this every couple of years. And I was like, oh my God. And there was at one point, it was the most humiliating, and I'm glad it happened, that it came to the head, because I needed to hear. And she stayed with him. She's still with him. She actually contacted me during the pandemic because she followed the show. I had to block her on everything because I don't know. She's not a fan.
Well, sometimes we go down these roads that end up being dead ends, but it's the person who is guiding the traffic that makes you go down that street.
Yeah, it was.
And it's not a crossing guard.
Yeah.
It sucks that has to happen. Hey, LeBlanc, chill out just a little bit, buddy. Just keep on watching and smiling a little bit, okay? This is not about anybody but us. I'm glad you're watching and having a good time. My cousin's writing in too.
Okay.
We're going to take in a couple of questions in just a little bit, so hang out. But right now, we have all this great stuff that we got together for Christmas.
Yes.
And we want to talk about Christmas regifting and Christmas best gifts. Right now, we have all this stuff on the table. So if you would hand me that jar right there. This is the Christmas jar that Mommy always put on the table.
Love it.
And in the Christmas jar, you could tell this is really, really old. What did Mommy put in the Christmas jar that she would say every once in a while? Get your hand out of the jar!
Want me to open?
Yes.
All right.
Go.
I'm going. Ooh, some
Christmas candy.
I love
This one actually has like mint in it. But these are some of my favorite candies, Lindora. These are absolutely delicious. This was in that. You can have one if you want. Since Christmas is over, we're going to give away a lot of this stuff to some different people around the neighborhood. This is another jar that has cookies and candies in it. But these are very special chocolates. Grab one. Yup. Unbelievable. Gourmet chocolates. Some of them have mints, some of them have caramel, some of them have peanut butter. They're the best. This is actually a candle. You can't eat this candle, but this candle smells like something you would like to eat. This was given to us by our friend Marianne Axon, who is an incredible party planner, and she brought over a lot of gifts. In fact, show us the platter that Marianne gave us on Sunday night when we did the Not So Late show with Chrissy Balls.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Ooh,
yes.
I'm going to take this one off so you can see it. Look at the amazingness.
There are donuts and there are delicacies. Let's show everybody what we have. This is a cannoli. This cannoli was brought to us by Michelle Traina. She likes cannolis. These are cakes and pies that I can't really pick up. Here's an Italian cookie. This Italian cookie has anisette over the top of it. It's very delicious. You dip this in your coffee and you keep your mouth shut.
Oh.
This is another something, and it's got something in it.
Some fruit.
There's other shit and cakes and pies. This is her favorite. That's why she brought it, because she could bring it and eat it. It's called regifting while you're there. That's very funny. Some of the other cakes and pies and cookies on this came from our friend Chrissy Balls. Chrissy Balls is making a big name for herself on TikTok. Used to be called Whatnot. Now it's called TikTok. So look up Chrissy Balls on TikTok, and maybe she'll make you laugh, and maybe you'll follow her. I never thought I'd be the type of person that would say follow another person. Go follow a girl, see what happens back in the 80s. You wouldn't get your fucking ass kicked. Okay, so put that over there. We're going to have some of our favorite snacks. And if you would hand me that one.
Cookies.
This cookie was given to me by another friend and a fan. His name is Anthony. He's going to be on the show January 4. These are lemon cookies. I put them in the refrigerator, but when you're a single guy like myself and you live alone, what do you do with this much cake? You call your 80-year-old neighbor and say, would you like some cakes? And they say things like, can you take out my garbage? And then you do. And then you do. All right? One more. Never really was a fan of candy canes. This is Mr. Snowman Candy Cane Head. And there's 3 different flavors of candy cane. And then there's a wooden spoon. This is the smallest wooden spoon in the history of wooden spoons. But then again, I have the biggest wooden spoon in the history of wooden spoons.
Oh, you do?
Yes. Would you hand it to me? It's right over there.
God.
This wooden spoon was given to me in the beginning of the year by one of our friends who has a podcast called The Wooden Spoon.
This is amazing.
Boom. Look at the size of this wooden spoon.
Oh, my God.
This is when you're cooking for 3,000 people and you're stirring the gravy, stirring the gravy, stirring the gravy. And then some asshole cuts up to you and says something stupid and you fucking kill him because this won't hurt you. This will kill you. Look, isn't it funny? Here's Michelle. No, you can't see her at all. There she is. There she's gone. Now listen, this could be used as a sex toy. Let's suppose you're having sex with someone and you don't want to anymore. You hit him. You never see him again. Go ahead, go stir the sauce. What else do we have here? Okay, now Christmas cards. Christmas cards seems to be like a thing of the past.
Yeah.
Nobody's really throwing cards in the mail anymore. Do you remember when you were younger, your parents would buy stacks of the identical card and then write them out. And then everybody would get the same card. And then you went to a Christmas party and everybody thanked you for the identical card. Yeah. But some cards you put money in. You remember when your parents put money in? Like a couple of dollars.
A card holder.
And then you were younger. And this is how you opened your card.
Yeah.
Nothing in it.
Oh, careful, there's nothing
Come on,
in
there's
there.
nothing in there. My mother used to staple it in.
She stapled it
Yeah, she was stapling the dollars. So here's a Christmas card from a fan. Joanne, Colleen, Angela, and Wyatt Drum. Art of the Drum. And they gave me a nice card. I'd like to know how they know where I live. That's that fucking funny. All right. I got some Christmas cards from some really cool people. And I want to show this one special Christmas card. Oh, my neighbor showed me what his kids look like.
He showed.
I seen him, but now I got a picture to remind me. This guy's got an antique car, and here's one that I want everybody to see, and you could see too. Dina Martin and John Griffith. This is Dean Martin's daughter.
I can't. That's amazing.
She loves me.
Oh, my dad was a huge Dean Martin fan. Like, this is like amazing.
Dina Martin, Dean's daughter, sings and tours, and I was her opening act.
I can't get over that.
So as far as I'm concerned, that's as close to opening for Dean Martin as I'm ever going to get.
Amazing.
And I'm very, very happy about that. Here is a calendar. And this calendar is being sold on the internet to raise money for something.
For funny.
For the love of tatas. Well.
Oh, for boobs. Pink.
Yes.
Breast cancer, right?
Breast cancer awareness or some shit like that. And this calendar is all female comedians.
Oh.
Yeah. And they're on the sexy side. See?
Oh, I know. Brittany. I know her. I don't
Brittany?
know her. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, here's the calendar. Oh, it's upside down.
I like that.
And there's January. And there's
Ooh,
February.
All right. Her name is Grace.
Grace.
My daughter's
Blah,
name.
blah, blah. Look at the muscles
All
on this
right.
woman. So I think you should be in this
I would love
calendar.
to be in this calendar.
These girls are sexy, hot comedians with great
Goodness.
personalities. And you can get this calendar at a ballin' photo.
Yeah.
At a ballin' photo. Photos by Abby Ballin. No, her name is Abby Ballin. It doesn't say where to get it. Funny in Pink Foundation, the IBC Network Foundation. Maybe I'm not reading this correctly. I got it because I know one of the comedians.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, which one did you
Oh,
know?
there. Miss September is Sharon Pfeiffer.
Oh, she's pretty.
She opened for me. Oh, see that says Mike Marino behind it?
Oh my goodness.
This is at the
yeah.
Boca Black Box in
I
Boca
love it.
Raton. Funny in Pink. Oh, here you go. www.funnyinpink.com. And you
Love
can
it.
pick up this beautiful calendar for 2022. And special shout out to Miss September. So I think when they shoot this
Yay.
again, what would you like? What month?
I mean, I'm a Scorpio. October.
October.
It's my birthday, but I'll take any month.
Scorpio. I'm an Aquarian. I'm born in February.
Oh.
Aquarians and Scorpios get together really well.
There.
But Scorpions eat up and kill the Aquarians. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it.
I'm not that bad.
Anyway,
Don't
get a
talk to any of
calendar.
my exes. Yes, I love that calendar. That's amazing.
I love the when she talks about the exes. It's a great story. Okay. Let us just thank our sponsors really quickly, and then we're going to take in some questions, okay? No, you know what? Let's take the questions
All
now.
right. Yes.
Going out on tour and making people laugh in different parts of the country is my friend Michelle
Yeah.
Traina. So let's see who's out there. Okay, Instagram, hit us. And here on Facebook, what do you got for anybody? There's Mr. Direct,
Oh,
Markland.
Yeah, Markland. Oh, he's such a nice guy.
They say that because they want a distraction. Well, these aren't questions, these are statements. There's a lot of statements here. We're looking for some questions for Michelle or myself. Look at Mr. Direct is applauding like crazy.
Oh, he's a sweetheart.
Mr. Direct, it's nice to see you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll get together soon. We've been doing the whole social distancing thing right now here in the basement. Here comes one question from Gina.
Oh, Gina. Yeah.
Gina Marie, who
She's
writes,
sweet.
"Don't avoid us over here on Instagram, Michael." Well, we're watching you right now, and I know you had a great conversation with Mr. LeBlanc, but the conversation's supposed to be with us. So what do you got?
Why? Go ahead.
G.I. Genic, why don't you date one another? Who? See how I dodged that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's like we're both comedians and we're getting to know each other professionally. So personally, I don't want to. And I'm also the last guy that I was with, which I told Mike about. Kind of shut me off, guys, for a while. Like I'm kind of that person where once I'm intimate with somebody that I like and I connect with, and they break my heart, I'm done for like a couple of years. That's messed up, right?
Yes. Whenever I date a guy and we break up, it takes me years to want to date a guy again.
But like to be, not year, maybe like a year or two. Takes a while. The guy before him, 2 years.
I like to date girls who are unavailable. This way I don't have to go through with it.
That's a good.
I want to go on Dr. Phil. Hey, Wait a minute now. We're missing some questions. Mike is awesome. Well, that's not a question, but thank you so much. I appreciate that. Look, everybody's laughing. Come on, hit us with some questions here. That's a nice question, and we really appreciate that. That works. You like the answer. Okay.
There we go.
Why do you guys disguise your names? My name is Mike Marino on Instagram. Look at all the disguised names. People are hiding their true identity.
Yeah, I don't disguise my. Oh, you're asking them. I was gonna say, yeah, they do disguise their name. Well, some people have to for the jobs, I guess. But this is why I'm a comedian. Oh, here's one.
What's your favorite drink? Seeing all those bottles behind you. Coffee.
Yeah, I mean,
What's your favorite drink?
coffee is actually Cafe Bustelo is my favorite coffee, and then if I had to choose with some of these drinks, is one of the wines for sure.
You could be my press secretary when I run for president. Yes, she
All
could be the
right.
first lady. She can be. How has comedy changed during wokeness?
That's
Well, I was never sleeping, so I
Yeah.
didn't. I wasn't affected at all. I don't sleep.
so,
Don't wake me up. I already was woke. There's your answer.
yeah, I've been a single mom for 7 years, so I've not had any sleep, so I'm awake.
Wokeness, or whoever these cancel
Yeah.
culture people are, only hurt people who allow them to hurt. Got nothing to do with me. And if anybody's offended by what I say as a comedian, how could you possibly be offended by my life? I talk about my life. If
Right.
you're offended by it, then what the fuck are you doing in my life?
Yeah.
Get out of my life. How about you?
100%. So most of my comedy, if not all of it, is in my narrative. So the ones that are usually offended are the guys that I dated. So
Don't mention their names.
I don't.
People say to me all the time, "You were talking about me." I'm like, I didn't say your name.
Exactly.
I didn't say your
How
name.
do you know it's you?
It wasn't you. Somebody who acted like you. There's a lot of people who do what you do.
Exactly. There's a lot of people with the same
A
theme.
lot of assholes out there. Assholes all do the same thing. Be an asshole.
A lot
Like
of
the guy on a
choo-
plane. Let's show everybody how to choke out Italian style. Yeah, get in there, God, die, you motherfucker. All right. Lim Dak 4. What's up for New Year's? I missed if you already said. Well, thank you. Did you guys ever tour together? Buena Sarah asks, who watches my morning walk every morning, he's a great guy here in New Jersey. We've never toured together and we've never done a show together, but since we did my show here Sunday night, the Not So Late show that you should have seen, very, very funny. She played a dude and I played a girl. But these things end up touring together somehow. So in the new year, when I'm doing a tour with Joe Gorga, maybe we're going to need
Oh my God,
Michelle
love
to
it.
be on the show with us, and we
Yeah.
can make that happen.
That'd be awesome.
And then she'll be doing her show, Divorce Diaries, and she might want a guy to come walking on stage and choke him out, and I'll just do it. I'm her ex, Tony.
Well, you can come on. Your cousin Michelle can come on.
When will you be in Connecticut with Carlo and Louie? Well, that's an interesting question. I'm going to be in Connecticut the second to last week of January with Joe Gorga. The show with Carlo and Louie is going to be in May, and she's talking about the Uncle Louie variety show. These guys are
okay.
really, really great.
Oh, that's awesome.
And New Year's Eve, I'm actually going to be at Catch a Rising Star in Princeton, New Jersey. Tickets are still on sale at catcharisingstar.com. They're having it in the ballroom. It's going to be a big festa. You get food, you get wine, you get a DJ, you get a couple of comedians like me and Steve Trevelise from 101.5, and also Jared Belford is in the show. Maybe if Michelle has nothing to do, she'll come down, crack a couple jokes, have some fun. We're going to get drunk and then crash in the hotel. So if you're looking for something to do on New Year's Eve,
Listen, if my daughter can come down, and if my mom and my daughter, would you like? We can do all. Because that'd be great. Actually,
nothing like having a 9-year-old at the New Year's Eve party. Who
Was
are
she
you?
doing
I'm the
backflips?
babysitter. You know, Mike, your act was funny,
You
but
wanted the Uncle Mike.
those backflips were just, they stole the show.
She will probably do.
I did a backflip when I was, I never did a backflip.
Can I go on stage?
All right, we need to get you guys a Netflix Showtime special together. Well, why don't you make that call, make the phone call.
Manifest.
This show is actually going to be running on, it's on Spotify, Anchor, Instagram, iTunes, but my producer Tatiana was also talking about another outlet that's going to be airing us, so it's going to be really, really great. And we'll see if that's going to happen. Once I get into the White House in 2024, I'll do live from my mother's basement in the basement of the White House.
I'm looking at the. Wait, 4 is my favorite number.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so that's good energy. 4.
I'm going to throw out my dates for the new year, but first, why don't we talk about where you guys could find and watch Michelle?
Yeah, you can go right to divorcediaryshow.com for any Divorce Diary shows. And for other shows that are not Divorce Diaries, I have a theater company for children with special needs. I do kids theater as well and kids comedy. MichelleTraina.com. It's kind of all the same umbrella. So MichelleTraina.com. So all shows there.
Well, that's fantastic. Hold on. Where is your show on 1/16? Is that what that says?
Oh, yeah. So January 16th, Divorce Diaries will be at Broadway Comedy Club. Gina Marie. Yes. So yeah, go check it out. It's a Sunday at 5 p.m. And it's the weekend where most the kids don't have school the next day. Well, my kid doesn't have school the next day, so it's a 3-day weekend. So I'm hoping some single moms can come out that night.
How about single dads?
Single dads too, of course. Single dads, of course.
Why'd
yes.
you point at me? I'm not a
Oh
single
no,
dad. I don't have
I
any
was
kids.
agreeing with him.
I actually was always hoping that one day I'm going to get a knock at the door and the girl's going to be standing there, or a guy. I hope I would prefer a girl, like a daughter.
Yeah,
And she'd be like 30, 32, somewhere in that age range, and go, "Are you da 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 da?" I'm like, "Yes, I am. Who are you?" And she goes, "I'm your daughter." I'm like, "Which one's your mother?" Well, come on. Holy shit, I don't even remember her. No, I'm kidding. Wait a second. We need to get all NJ comedians together and do a fundraiser. I think that would be awesome. Well, okay, we could do a fundraiser. But all New Jersey comedians are kind of unemployed because of COVID-19. So why don't we do a show and just keep the money and call it a fundraiser for us? All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and thank our sponsors on that note, and you help me do that.
Okay.
This past year, I had some of the greatest, the most fun sponsors. They're all staying on board for next year. Right now, quick shout out to Diablo Moon for sponsoring Mike Marino live from my mother's basement and a couple of our big live tours. Diablo Moon, you can find them on the internet at diablomoon.shop. They have great products, anywhere from shirts to cutlery to these beautiful glasses, and my favorite, the pizza cutter.
Oh, I love the pizza. That's a nice pizza cutter.
It's a great pizza cutter. Ka-chop. You can take somebody's finger off with that. I'm just saying. I want to thank Dr. James Checchio, chiropractor, for always being a hot sponsor, and his partner in crime, Dr. Andy Rosenfarb of AccuVision Acupuncture in Westfield, New Jersey. I want to thank Laura Brunetti for always giving me these incredible books as she helps children with needs by showing them how to paint. Thank you so much, Laura Brunetti.
That's awesome.
She gave me 2 books and 3 antique books from the 50s and the 60s. I want to thank Michael Pitti, who's actually in Florida. He's a real estate agent. If you're looking to buy a house, if you're looking to sell a house, if you're looking to get an apartment from somebody who you want to get divorced from and tell them to get the fuck out of your house in Florida.
Yes!
Michael Pitti.
Michael Pitti.
We got a brand new sponsor coming to join us next year. It's going to be olive oil and vinaigrettes. We'll talk about that later when I finally get that deal. Thank you so much to Regina's Pizza of Akron, Ohio.
Yeah.
They've been in business for 52 years. They send me pizza over the internet.
Wait.
Regina's, they're in Akron, Ohio.
That's awesome.
But here's the beautiful thing about getting a sponsor who's not local. They're in Akron, Ohio, so I really couldn't order a pizza and get it here for time for the show. However, people who are watching the show thought it would be a great idea to go on the internet and buy shirts or masks from Akron, Ohio's Regina's Pizza. Or one woman or a couple people actually bought hundreds of dollars worth of pizza from Regina's Pizza and sent it to nurses and doctors who are on the front lines in the Akron, Ohio area. So you can always do something somehow. Dig?
I love that.
Cool, huh?
That's amazing.
Foggia Italian Market and Deli is an Italian deli in Los Angeles, California. Now, everybody complains you can't find Italian food in Los Angeles. Yes, you can. You go down to Lakewood. Lakewood, California is right near Long Beach. Long Beach is where the world-famous Laugh Factory is, other than the one that's in Hollywood. And that's the way I met everybody down there, and it's a wonderful place, and the food is authentic because they're from Foggia, Italy, and the Foggia family, so that's how they named it like that. Speaking of charities, and you were talking about the children that you help. This young man was on my show. His name is Paul Simmons. Paul Simmons has a radio show that's autism based. It's all about autism, and they did a cartoon, and he's a hero.
I watched it.
Hope saves. Oh, right.
That's good. Yeah.
So I have shirts here
That's awesome.
that are from Paul Simmons, and it's all about autistic children. So, would you guys like some of those shirts? I get 5 of them here, and I'd like to give them away. So if you're watching the show right now, you'd be the only people that would know that I'm going to say this. Buy a Mike Marino 2024 shirt on the internet. Just go to mikemarino.net and buy a Marino 2024 t-shirt. I will match it with one of the shirts from Paul Simmons, and I'll take that money and donate it to them. So all you're doing is buying one shirt, and I'll put another shirt of the same size. I have many sizes here, and I will send it out to you. There's about 20 of them here, and I'll be happy to make that happen. I'll also put in the package that shows you how you can watch his show on the internet.
I love that.
Our
That's a deal.
last sponsor, and one of my favorite sponsors, of course, is Hero Kings of Nutley, New Jersey. She lives in Nutley. I didn't say that. I don't know where she lives.
Oh, I know. I tell people. I
don't know
know
where she lives. Nobody knows where she lives.
Nobody knows. I live
Far away.
far away.
Far away. She lives near all her exes, and they're crazy, and they got guns. Don't go there. They're still hoping.
Down the street.
I know.
The possum.
She dated a possum. Okay, well, Johnny Salami of Hero Kings of Nutley, proud sponsor of Mike Marino Live, always came here on Tuesday night and brought food. He hasn't been here in quite some time because of COVID. We've been practicing COVID. We are all safe. We're all tested. We all stay away from each other. There's no studio audience here. My producer, Tatiana Blueshell in Los Angeles, California, makes sure that this is all done exactly the way it's supposed to be done. However, if you're in Nutley, drop by Hero Kings. He's on Franklin Avenue, theheroking.com. I think I mentioned everybody. Now, before we get going, I want you guys to go take a look at one of the newest family members of Mike Marino Live. It's Christy Balls. I don't know why I have to say balls like that.
I love it.
Christy Balls.
Yeah.
She's on TikTok. She's going to be doing some TikToks with us. We really don't know what the fuck TikTok is, nor do we really give a shit, but we got to keep up with the times. And the only way for us to do TikToks is to do either drugs or eat some really heavy, sugary shit. So, ooh, I broke the dish.
No.
It's not a real dish. It's made of thing. So we're going to get going. One more time, nice and loud. Would you tell everybody how to find you on the internet?
Yes, you can go to divorcediaryshow.com or michelletraina.com.
michelletraina.com or divorcediaries.com.
Show, divorcediaryshow.com. The other one was too expensive.
Divorce Diaries Show.
That domain was expensive, I'm just saying.
The scent of sugar coming off this plate has got me so high that we're going to eat everything. I'm going to tongue that cannoli. You can end with something dirty too.
Hopefully it'll be better than the last guy that tongued me that you tongued the cannoli. I'm sorry, that just is exactly what I went to because I don't know. All right. Yes, I'm going to get more pleasure eating these Italian cookies than
being eaten.
Being eaten.
I'd like to say I'm Italian, and when I go down, I don't mess around. I keep eating till dinner's done. Because my mother said when I was a little kid, you have to eat everything in your plate, and then you can play. Please tell me somebody understood that.
Yes!
All right. Well, I'm picking dessert. This one in here is a pumpkin, I'm pretty sure. The one dead center. This one, oh, look at these.
Those are little marshmallows.
These are marshmallows. Have a marshmallow.
I'm going to have a marshmallow. Okay.
We'll do a marshmallow.
Alrighty.
Would you help me put this
Yes,
plate
yes,
over
yes.
there?
Sorry.
And we'll say goodnight on this.
All right.
Did we cover everything? You have a big event. You told about events, right?
Yep.
All right. We covered everything. It's been a great year. It's been a tough year. It's been a fucked up year. But let's hope the pandemic comes to an end and entertainers like ourselves will be in your neighborhood somehow, some way soon. Until then, keep on watching live from my mother's basement.
Choking someone out.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I'm having a hard time closing this show because it's too much fun. I don't even want to leave. Let me tell you something. At least we didn't lie. If we could choke somebody out that deserves to be choked out, we'd do it. I'd do it. I have no problem punching somebody in the head. Funny show, Mike. Thank you, Tommy.
Yay.
Let's make America Italian again, everybody. Remember, you don't know nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't say nothing. And how do I end every single one of my broadcasts? By always saying the same thing. Don't take no shit from nobody. That's pretty good. Bye, everybody. Hey, folks, I hope you're enjoying watching my podcast live from my mother's basement. We're having a lot of fun, and I'm going to have a lot of great guests on the show in the future. So if you like it, hit like. You could also leave a comment. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch other funny videos. And you could also listen to my podcast on your favorite podcast app like Spotify and iTunes.